In the heart of central Idaho lies one of the largest untouched wildernesses in America. Nearly 2.5 million acres of forest, granite peaks, and rushing water. Locals call it simply the Frank. Its rivers carve canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon. Lewis and Clark once called this land impossible to cross. They named the river that runs through it the River of No Return. It is here, in October 2018, that a quiet camping trip nearly ended in tragedy. This is not a legend or a campfire tale. This is a documented, real survival account. A 66-year-old man named Rob Lundgren came here with his son. He had camped in wild places for most of his life. He knew how to read a map, start a fire, and respect the cold. Nothing about this trip seemed unusual at first, but something inside his own mind was about to put his life at risk. Rob arrived a day early to scout a campsite for his annual trip. He chose a quiet spot in a wide valley below Pinyon Peak. A low-traffic dirt road ran nearby, offering easy access. The next day, his son Jordan met him at a nearby junction. They drove in together and set up camp for the night. They shared a beer, talked, and settled in as the temperature dropped. It was an ordinary night in the backcountry, nothing more. Rob dressed carefully for the cold October air. Long johns, wool socks, a cotton shirt, and a thin thermal layer. At 8,000 feet, nights in Idaho turned brutally cold. Temperatures that night would fall to around 20 degrees Fahrenheit. He climbed into his sleeping bag expecting a normal night's rest. He had not sleepwalked in over 50 years. It was the last thing on his mind as he fell asleep. Somewhere in the night, Rob's body left the tent. His mind was still asleep, but his legs were moving. Sleepwalking is rare in adults, especially after decades without it. Stress, exhaustion, and unfamiliar terrain can sometimes trigger it. Rob had no memory of unzipping the tent or stepping outside. He had no memory of walking away from the safety of camp. By the time his mind woke up, he was already gone. The wilderness at night hides its dangers in silence. No trail markers, no lights, no sound but wind and water. A single wrong step near a creek bank can change everything. Search and rescue experts often say the wilderness does not forgive confusion. Cold, darkness, and disorientation together can be lethal within hours. Rob was about to learn this firsthand, fully unaware of what was happening. His next memory would be the coldest shock of his life. Rob woke standing in freezing creek water in total darkness. He had no idea how he had gotten there or how far he had walked. His clothes were soaked through from the icy stream. His sleeves had frozen stiff, sticking straight out from his arms. He pulled his arms inside his shirt, desperate for any warmth. His feet were bare, tender, and already numb from the cold. In that instant, survival instinct took over completely. This moment is the true turning point of the story. A man asleep 1 second, fighting for his life the next. No shoes, no jacket, no fire, no light, just freezing water, frozen fabric, and a forest with no trail. At 20 degrees Fahrenheit, hypothermia can begin within the hour. Rob understood immediately how serious his situation had become. He had to move, and he had to move now. Rob stepped out of the creek onto frozen, uneven ground. Every step on bare feet sent sharp pain through his body. Strangely, the pain gave him something to focus on besides fear. He forced himself to think clearly despite the shock of the cold. He needed to find higher ground, away from the freezing water. He needed to find any sign of the road or his tent. But in total darkness, direction becomes almost impossible to judge. The human mind under extreme cold begins to slow down. Basic decisions become harder. Confusion creeps in quickly. Rob had spent years studying wilderness survival and outdoor skills. That training was now the only thing standing between him and disaster. He recalled the terrain from scouting the campsite the day before. He tried to remember which direction the creek had run from camp. Every wrong guess could cost him critical, life-threatening time. As Rob moved, his body temperature continued to drop. Hypothermia does not always feel like danger right away. Sometimes it feels like tiredness or a strange, creeping calm. Rob knew this was one of the most dangerous symptoms. He forced his arms to keep moving, keeping blood flowing. He kept his mind occupied by naming landmarks he remembered, anything to avoid slipping into fatal exhaustion. The forest offered no comfort, only obstacles in the dark. Fallen branches, loose rocks, and unseen roots threatened every step. Rob later admitted the pain in his feet may have saved him, kept him alert when his body wanted to shut down. He pushed forward, unsure if he was walking towards safety or away from it. Every minute outside shelter increased the risk to his life. Survival now depended entirely on decisions made in near-total blindness. Rob remembered the low-traffic dirt road near their campsite. If he could find that road, he could follow it back to camp. Roads in wilderness areas often become lifelines during emergencies. They offer flat, clear ground and a sense of direction. Rob scanned the darkness for any break in the treeline. Even a faint path forward gave him a fragment of hope. Losing that road in the dark could mean wandering for hours. Search and rescue data shows road corridors save lives regularly. Lost hikers who find a road often reach safety much faster. Rob understood this instinctively from years of outdoor experience. He moved carefully, testing the ground with each freezing step. The silence of the wilderness made every sound feel amplified. A cracking branch, a gust of wind, his own breathing. Somewhere out there, his son Jordan was still asleep in camp. At some point that night, Jordan realized his father was missing. An empty sleeping bag in the middle of the wilderness is alarming. No note, no sound, no sign of where he had gone. In remote backcountry, a missing person at night is a serious emergency. Jordan had to make quick decisions with very limited information. Every minute mattered in a place with no cell service. The situation had shifted from a peaceful trip to a crisis. Wilderness emergencies often begin exactly like this, quietly and suddenly. One moment everything is normal, the next moment everything changes. Jordan would have scanned the area immediately, calling out into the dark. Cold nights in remote terrain leave very little room for error. The family's plans, the trip, all of it faded in importance. Only one thing mattered now, finding Rob before the cold could. The wilderness gave no clues, only silence and freezing air. Every passing minute increased the danger for a man without shoes. Medical experts note that severe hypothermia can begin within 2 hours. Confusion, slowed heart rate, and exhaustion follow soon after. Rob had no fire, no shelter, and no extra clothing. His only advantage was decades of outdoor knowledge and sheer will. He kept moving, refusing to sit down and lose body heat. Stillness in extreme cold can be far more dangerous than movement. The wilderness at night reveals how fragile survival truly is. A single decision, a single direction can determine life or death. Rob later described the fear of freezing as constant and present. But he also described a strange focus that guided his steps. Training, instinct, and desperation combined into pure determination. Somewhere ahead, he hoped, was the road, the camp, his son. He had no way to know how close or how far he truly was. As the night wore on, Rob began recognizing shapes in the terrain. A ridgeline, a bend in the land, a familiar slope. Wilderness survival often depends on small, half-remembered details like these. Rob's mind, though exhausted, began piecing together the path back. Every recognized landmark reduced the panic building inside him. He pushed forward with renewed focus, despite the pain in his feet. Somewhere close, he hoped, was the road that led to camp. This stretch of the ordeal represents the turning point toward survival. Rob's years of outdoor experience were finally paying off. Instead of wandering blindly, his steps became more deliberate. He used the position of ridgelines and slopes to judge direction. Real survival rarely looks dramatic. It looks like small, careful decisions. One step at a time, Rob moved closer to safety. The freezing night was finally beginning to work in his favor. Eventually, Rob found his way back toward the road near camp. Cold, exhausted, and injured, he had survived a night that could have killed him. His feet were bruised and numb from hours on frozen ground. His body was pushed to the edge of hypothermia, but he had done what search and rescue teams call self-rescue. Using memory, instinct, and sheer determination, he found his way home. For Jordan, seeing his father again brought overwhelming relief. Stories like this rarely make headlines, but they are deeply real. Rob Lundgren's account was later shared publicly as a cautionary tale. It highlighted a danger campers rarely consider: sleepwalking in the wild. Doctors note that stress, fatigue, and unfamiliar sleeping environments can trigger it. For most people, sleepwalking ends safely inside their own home. For Rob, it nearly ended in a freezing wilderness creek. His survival came down to preparation, instinct, and pure will to live. Rob Lundgren's story is a rare and real account of sleepwalking survival. It reminds us how unpredictable the human body can be, even during rest. The wilderness does not care about intentions or good preparation alone. It only responds to decisions made in the moment of crisis. Rob's knowledge of the outdoors ultimately saved his own life. His story has since been used to educate other campers and hikers. Sometimes the greatest danger is not the wild, but our own minds. This wilderness earned its name centuries ago for a reason. Many who enter unprepared never find their way back at all. Rob Lundgren did, against odds that could have ended differently. His account stands today as a real documented survival story. It is a story about instinct, cold, fear, and human resilience. The river of no return nearly lived up to its name that night. But this time, against the darkness, someone truly did return.